It is time for no ifs, ands, or buts. We call it that because it is Matt Butts. That's right. B-U-T-T-S, baby. mbutslaw.net, mbutslaw.net. He does, of course, divorce and family law, 948-4958, 948-4958. We have not had you on the last couple weeks. I missed you last week. It's the end of the summer, school starts. It gets kind of a little crazy, so I'm happy
That's
to see
right.
your smiling face back on here. We got some email questions going on, but what's going on with you? You doing okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There you go.
The last quarter of the year tends to be the slowest season financially. Not, no, you're still busy, but Christmas is coming up, and sports are getting back in, and I get that. But so yeah, I'm the work is still there. I'm still in court a good bit, but that's probably going to slow down to I don't know, in the next month or so.
If you want to do your children a favor, depending on their age,
Hmm.
what is the best time of the year to get a divorce? Some people would say school year is a good time because they've got other extracurricular things going on and they won't be thinking about the case. And then other people are like, no, you don't want to do it during the school year because then they're not going to be thinking about their schoolwork. They're going to be so worried about mom and dad getting separated, blah, 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 blah. Or is there a perfect time? It's like, when's the best time to break up with somebody? There really isn't a good time. But is there a good time for, if you're thinking about it, maybe should you wait till the end of the school year before you jump in?
I can tell you, I don't know about the best time, but I can tell you what I see people do. Generally, they get through Christmas, come January, between January and March, they're ready. Tax returns are coming back in, and they've got some money for a retainer, and they say, okay, this is it. So
There you
that's
go.
usually it.
All right. Info at TonyCurryRadio.net. Info at TonyCurryRadio.net. We're also rebranding some things during the best 5 minutes in television. If you want to be part of ABC 3340 and, of course, the starting lineup, I do a show every Saturday morning from 10:30, 11 o'clock. It butts right up against the SEC game of the week, which this is week 0. College football starts this week. But next week, Alabama, East Carolina is the first game, 11 o'clock on ABC 3340. You can check out all my stuff, best5minutestv.com, as well as TonyCurryRadio.net, and check it out. Lots of questions. We have not done an email in a while, so I apologize. We'll get into it. Marcy in Hoover wants to know, please ask Matthew, what percentage of your cases go to trial?
Oh man.
I think a lot of people, a lot, including myself, but a lot of people think that when you're going through divorce, you don't want it, whatever the situation is, that you're going to be sitting in a courtroom for the first time in your life, and it scares the
Yeah.
hell out of a lot of people. What people don't realize, there are a lot of things that can and sometimes do happen before you actually have to go to court. Because I think most lawyers, while they may say I love going to court, it's going to make them look good, they really want to get this done for sake of just your emotions, your anxiety, to try to settle it out before you have to get to that point. Correct? And I know judges do. Judges are like, figure it out, and if you can't, you ain't gonna like what I got to say.
Right. And I'm really not a math guy. It's hard for me to do percentages, but what I can tell you is this. There are most cases should settle like we've talked about, but I tried 2 cases last week. So it tends to come in waves, and I don't know what that's about, but it always kind of has. Uh, when I get trials, I generally have 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 trials set right then and there. Um, I don't know what it is, and I don't know what the percentage is, but I can tell you that last week we were batting 100.
There you go.
It we were in trial a good bit.
So if you're in a courtroom, say there's 17 divorces on the docket, which is not rare, the
Right.
judge is going to get up there and say, listen, have we all talked? In other words, have the sides talked to each other? Are there any chances we can settle this before we have to go to court? Because the judge don't want to do that. And she'll say, listen, I suggest that the best thing for you is to figure this out, because there's a good chance both of you is not going to get what you want. You're not going to like the way it goes. It's going to hurt. No one's going to win. There's no winners here. There's never any winners in a divorce court. And so miraculously, you come back and like 9 of them will have settled, like more than half. You're like, wow, after
They
3 years, all of a
should.
sudden.
It's because they
So
should.
what is it when those two lawyers go aside and they've been so far apart for so long? Is it sitting before the judge and the judge said, listen, you guys are wasting your time with me. you need to settle this out, or do they primarily just leave it up to the lawyers and whether they want to go to court on the thing?
So there are two realities operating simultaneously with a person who's going through something like that, going through a divorce. There is the reality of everything you have known and experienced and everything that has brought you to this moment and things that only truly the two of you are probably only know. Then there is the reality of the court docket, right? And what the court is most concerned about, which look, it's not the court don't care about your feelings. It's just that like we don't litigate a lot of feelings. We litigate property and we litigate custody and we litigate issues that are before the court and feelings factor in. But when you get there and you realize, oh, this is serious. This is
Hmm.
a real thing. This is not like some type of talk show where I'm going to get to go tell my story. This is legit. Is it worth it? Most of the time, the answer is no. When you can resolve issues of custody and property and everything that goes into marriage, maybe alimony, everything, the other stuff is not going to matter enough to risk all that to go in front of a judge. It's not worth it. It is
Yeah,
not worth it.
yeah, that's a great point, and I think that there's so many things. Um, Keeping a child home from school when they weren't really sick. The judges don't care about that crap. I mean, not unless you're doing it 50 times a year. It's just a little
Yeah.
nitpicky stuff. You can keep a log all you want, but it's that you have to realize that there's 17
And
other
don't get
people
me
in front of you
wrong,
that day.
if we go to trial, we're going to get into a whole lot of stuff, but
Yeah.
is it worth going to the trial in the first place?
Yeah. And it's just going to be super expensive.
Yep.
Matthew, same name as you, wants to know, is it okay to hire a divorce financial planner team? You ever
Yeah.
heard of a divorce financial planner? Yeah. Is that,
Oh yeah.
I've not heard of that. What is that?
So you've got all sorts of divorce professionals out there, and where I'd point you to is Divorce Girl Smiling. That's somebody I used to do a podcast with, and they've got just this
Divorce
team of
Girl Smiling is what that's the podcast
divorced
called?
girls smiling. Yeah, and the crazy
Crazy.
thing is, I think the way that I even hooked up there was she heard me on your podcast, like when I was doing it with Corey.
There you go.
Uh, but they've got a whole team of professionals. And just go to that website and check it out. Now, look, all of this stuff, these are what we would call divorce luxuries, and divorce luxuries cost luxury money. But there are all sorts of different types of professionals that surround divorce. Forensic analysts, forensic accountants, um, uh, take IT accountants, or I'm sorry, analysts. You've got Corey who does a PI work and who generally knows all these people that could connect me to. The divorce can be as in depth as you want it to be, and truly, if that's what it takes to get to the truth of matters, let's do it. And you can afford it, let's do it because we want the clearest picture that we can present to the court.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can certainly do that. And like a divorce financial a planner, I would think that would be more along the lines of you're going to settle this divorce. You're going to try to do it as amicably as possible. And you've got somebody because the court is going to. I mean, there's gray areas, but there's black and white there. That person can come in and see how much baby food costs or how
Mhm.
much diapers cost and things like that, and really kind of work that out, especially if the funds are there to do that.
Yeah. No ifs, ands, or buts. We do the show every single week. Keep those emails coming. Info at TonyCurryRadio.net, 948 4958, mbuttslaw.net, mbuttslaw.net. He's the best. He is Matthew Butts. He joins the show every single week here on Tony Curry Radio. Question from Barbara, who is a homemaker. She said, if I'm planning on getting a divorce, I have not worked in 17 years. She took care of the kids. A lot of wives do that. A lot of mothers do that. How soon will I be expected to go back to work? That's something that obviously if you're rich and you got a lot of money, and I've been told this over and over and over again, if you're the husband and you don't want this divorce, you're going to find out that she's going to expect her level of living to stay as close to what it was before you get the divorce than after. And a lot of guys are like, well, that's funny because I'm only making enough to feed one family, not two. But I'm just telling you, if she hasn't worked for 15 or 20 years, that may come back to bite you in the butt. But also, a lot of women because those are their earning years, right? When you have
Mm,
children, and you're like, hey, I'm going to stay home with the kid. You're like, super. And she's 22 and she's home till she's 39, 40 years old. She almost works her way out of no job. It's hard to get back in the workforce after, particularly in this time and age, the way technology and AI and everything's exploding. If you're not part of that, um, what would you tell someone like that? Are you expected to get back right after it?
well, generally speaking, the court is not going on a marriage that lasts less than 20 years. A court is generally not going to award alimony in excess of the duration of the marriage. So if you're married 3 years, I mean, three's probably all you're going to get, if anything, because it was only a 3 year marriage. But if you stayed at home and you need rehabilitative alimony, which is different than periodic, rehabilitative alimony is considered a property settlement, and that's to get you back on your feet. Then, I mean, it really depends. Have you done any coursework in college? Do you want to? What is the thing that it's going to take to get you to a place to where you can support yourself? Um, if there's a sufficient estate on the other side. Now, when you get to 20 plus year marriage, you can start talking more lifetime alimony.
Yeah.
And maybe even and even in cases less than 20 years, but it just all depends on the circumstances. um it's different for every person. If there's a sufficient estate to support you, to get you to where you need to be, and to maintain the lifestyle of the marriage as it existed during the marriage, yeah, I mean, that's what you need to go for. But it just depends on the person, really.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. How can I make sure this is from Tony in Bessemer? How can I make sure that my spouse is not hiding assets? Um, Everybody wants to hide assets. You don't have to get like a Switzerland account or anything to hide assets. We're talking, I mean, I guess if she's got maybe some jewelry or something that's worth a couple $100,000, maybe she brought into the family. I don't know what it is. I mean, usually it seems like when you bring something into the relationship and it's personal, you get to keep it. I'm assuming is how that usually goes. But how do you find out? How does a lawyer find out? And let's be honest, where's the best place to hide it? Do you
I'm not answering those
I mean,
questions.
outside burying it in the backyard. But here's the deal. I don't know too many couples that go more than 10 years that don't know pretty much everything about their other person. Like I'm going to know if you've got millions of dollars sitting in an account somewhere.
Right.
I wasn't quite aware of that, what my significant other's 401k was, but it didn't really matter. So, but
Okay, the first thing I'm going to do if I suspect that there are hidden assets is I'm going to send some written discovery, and I'm going to see if they're going to tell the truth or not. Because there's questions you have to answer under oath. If you're going to lie, I want you to earn that lie. And
Mhm.
then I'm going to go digging for it. If I even have such as a suspicion that there's money here or there, and the client has funds to, go fishing, then we will send some subpoenas to some banks, or just different financial institutions, and maybe the answer is there is nothing. Okay.
Mhm.
Um, but if you're hiding it, be prepared to have it discovered in ways that you don't want it discovered, because once you say you don't have it, it's game on to find it. And it becomes a challenge. You hire private investigators, you do all sorts of things to find these accounts, and then you bring in third parties who've dealt with them, who don't want to lie, who don't want to be involved with it, and so just tell the truth about these accounts. It just depends. It really so. A lot of people work for money under the table. All right, so they're dealing with people, and generally the spouse knows the people they're dealing with. Man, you really don't want that person subpoenaed to court to really tell how much you're paying the husband. If they'll just be truthful about it, that doesn't have to happen. But if you want us to start bringing all your clients to court to tell how much you really make because you just can't tell the truth, that's what we'll do too. So it's better just to tell the truth about it. I
Yeah.
don't, it really is.
I mean, if you got a good lawyer, it's going to come out one way or another. It is.
Yep.
And trust your lawyer. I mean, maybe tell them, what the situation is and let them figure it out for you. That's what you're paying them for. 948-4958 mbuslaw.net, mbuslaw.lit. We have Jimmy. Jimmy wants to know about depositions. How often do we have depositions? Are they necessary in a particular Divorce filing. I know I went through one and was a little bit surprised because I feel like if you're not sharing all your information, that's why you'd want a deposition. But um, it just kind of gets your feet wet and kind of finds out where the other side's coming from. But how often does that actually happen?
For each lawyer you ask, you might get a different response. For me, I do depositions when they are necessary
Yeah.
because they are very expensive. Um, uh, you, you don't want to just throw money away on it. Some people do it as a matter of course, and that's okay. High asset cases where you think people are hiding things, yeah, that might be time for a deposition. But I'm not going to do it as a matter of course, just in a divorce case. I mean, it's like a warm up to cross examination, except for there's
Mhm.
fewer rules than cross examination, where
It's
there's
the
very few
exact
rules.
same thing. Yeah.
And Look, again, sometimes they're necessary. Sometimes, if you think that it could be beneficial for your case to do a deposition, and you think that they could admit something that could resolve the case, fair. Let's go do one. But if it's just doing one for the sake of doing one, why?
Yeah.
Why? When you've got a middle class family who's making $50,000 a piece, and they can't afford these types of expenses, they just
Hmm.
can't.
Yeah.
So
I hear you there. No doubt. 948 mbutslaw.net, divorce and family law. He's the man. You do some criminal stuff too if they're
I
asked.
do.
You'll do it. He does. He's the man of many hats. He's the best, man. So make sure you give him a call 948 Anything else you want to add to the show this week? Anything interesting cases you want to talk about that's going on in your life?
Well, man, I will tell you this. After the trial or court run that I've had these past several weeks, just this summer, I am so excited to pull my camper down to the motocross or to a campground close to the motocross track and just go ride with my boys this weekend.
There
That
you
is
go.
that is the thing that's keeping me going right now. I'm thinking about us getting on our dirt bikes and just ripping.
Oh, I
That's what I'm
love that.
thinking about.
Will
Uh,
you been doing some rapping this weekend?
no. I got to get my mind right. That's what I'm doing. I'm
Okay.
like, so, and I'll be in court next week too, but nothing too major. It's just been a rough run, man. It's been a good run. I mean, we fought hard and we've got some good results, and we've had our hearts broke. We've had the whole gambit this summer. It's time to go ride some dirt bikes with the boys.
God
Some
bless you, brother.
Sunday.
Go enjoy your time, man. You know how much I appreciate you and everything you do. Give him a call, 948 mbutslaw.net. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you.
All right, thank you, Tony. You the man.